Hey guys, how you doing today? This is David Lucas back here again. Welcome back to my channel. And now today I'm coming back at you again with another movie review. I know it's been a while since I've done a movie review. I've been really doing a lot of Falcon and Winter Soldier reviews and a lot of those stuff lately. But now I'm back here on movie reviews, and there's been a new movie that I watched recently. Well, it's not technically a new movie. It's been out for a couple of years now. I just never seen it until now, which I was just scrolling through Amazon and saw it, watched it, and I kind of think that it's doable to do a review because I can't stop thinking about it. And that movie is The Lost City of Z, starring Charlie Hunnam, Robert Pattinson, Tom Holland, and Sienna Miller. Now, guys, before I get into the actual review of this movie, let me start off by saying the overall plot of this movie. The overall plot of this movie is that it is the real life story of Percy Facet, who discovered the lost city in the Amazons. And when he returns and tells this whole government, that he found this lost city, no one believes him. And now when I first seen the trailer of this movie, which I seen on Amazon, I was really interested in it. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. That I'm looking, I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, yeah, that's right. This is that one Robert Pattinson movie he was in. And that, got my attention because, of course, Batman. But also, too, the trailers itself look pretty interesting to me. And I'm always interested in adventure type of films and adventure type of stories. So I was all the way through on this. And now that I saw the movie, let me get into the good and the bad of this movie. Because there is some bad in it, and there are some things that I didn't like about it. But overall, I did kind of enjoy it. So let me start out with the good things about this movie. Now, one of the first things I really caught my eye of this movie is that the acting all around in here is just phenomenal. I think everyone in this movie completely nails their parts and is completely believable on all ends. Now, a particular standout for me in this film is actually Robert Pattinson's character. I actually found his character to be a little bit even more interesting than the main character played by Charlie Hunnam. I really liked Robert Pattinson's character. I really like how he is just a complete chameleon in this role. Because if I didn't know this was Robert Pattinson from in the credits, from watching it from the trailer, I wouldn't think that was him, probably, because he looks completely different. He's really skinny, has a long beard, he's really, greasy and sweaty. I think he did phenomenal and is probably the standout of this movie. And also, like I mentioned in the beginning of this, we also got Charlie Hunnam in this movie, who did pretty good, I thought he was really good in here. And you've seen him in a few things, and I actually think he is a decent actor. And seeing him in his role really sold it to me that, yeah, he is great. He had some really good emotional scenes. I really like some of the scenes of him giving his speeches. I thought he did really good. Just my only problem with him is that he wasn't as charismatic or as an interesting character than what Robert Pattinson's character was. And Robert Pattinson's character wasn't the main character of this movie. I also think Charlie Hunnam's wife in this movie, Sienna Miller, I think she did great. Actually, she was a really good emotional pull, I thought, for this movie. She was a really good emotional supporting character, I felt like, for this movie. So a big surprise of this movie, too, who showed up was Tom Holland. Tom Holland actually played a part in this movie, and he ended up becoming a very important part near the ending of the movie. And I thought Tom Holland, this was, I think, before maybe he played Spider-Man. Maybe it was, right after he played Spider-Man, I'm not sure. But I think him in his role, you can tell he's really young in his role, and he's already, from this role, I'm like, wow, maybe, yeah, even back then he was showing that he was a great actor, and yeah, I mean, honestly, if I knew of this role beforehand when he was Spider-Man, I would have been like, yeah, already, even though I do love him as Spider-Man, this proves again that Tom Holland is a great actor outside of Spider-Man. Film had really beautiful cinematography. It felt like almost every shot, every cut, everything. It was so beautiful. And the mood and atmosphere that this kind of all had when they were in the Amazons. And then they had the savages, of what they call them, shooting their, hornets at them and all that. Again, with hiding in the woods and them being panicked while on the boats and all that. I thought that really captured really good mood and atmosphere. And just the overall cinematography and shooting work on this movie, I thought was just flat out incredible. I also thought the story itself was really interesting and good adventure type of film where they go on to the Amazons to find this lost city of Z. It was a very interesting concept of story, in my opinion. Now, getting on to some of the negatives of this movie, because there are some things in this movie that I have. This movie does have flaws in it. And one of the big flaws of this movie that really points out on a sore thumb, in my opinion, is really dragged out. Like, this movie is a very dragged out film, in my opinion. It should be maybe cut down 20 to 30 minutes shorter. It's just there are some scenes in here that drags on. Like, there's a certain scene with this fortune teller that was very weird and out of place, and just it really could have been just cut from the movie, and it could have been focusing more, I feel like, on the Amazon, on them traveling, on their adventure, because the film also goes on to them focusing a little bit too much on him, like when they coming back and forth from London to the Amazons, and then we see him a lot with his family, but then we also don't really see him as much with his family. Like, there is this one scene in there where he gets into an argument with his son, played by Tom Holland, and you don't really feel that emotional hit that you should feel with it, because I feel like it's a little bit, they didn't really focus on that much when he's there in London. You know, they focused on the wrong things when he's in London. I understand they had to focus on his family life and that, but I feel like they kind of don't focus on that as much when they're there, even though his wife, I think, is one of the most best supporting actors in this film. They kind of focus more on talking and being political and politic talks more than actual storytelling and character development happening, I feel. And I feel like that all goes down to the director. I feel like the directors didn't focus on the right things. I would have rather it focusing more on him going on his adventures and them actually in the Amazons and seeing more of their journeys and all that. And then when they come back to London, cut out a bunch of scenes of them traveling back and forth, because for some reason we always have to have a traveling scene of them leaving and coming back every single time. Cut out some of those. Cut out some of the walking and talking political scenes where they're just walking and talking. And actually put some more character development scenes in them with him and his family and spending time with his family and doing things with his family. That's something I would have preferred. As a whole, guys, I gotta say The Lost City of Z is a pretty good movie. Does have his flaws, does have his mistakes, and it does kind of drag on a little too long, I think. But it is a enjoyable adventure movie that I would really recommend to go seeing on Amazon Prime. I do recommend it. Again, is maybe for certain people. I feel like certain people might get bored with this movie and might think it drags on too long, which it does. But I do recommend it. I'm going to have to give The Lost City of Z a 7 out of 10. Yes, guys, 7 out of 10. That's what I'm going to have to give The Lost City of Z. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Make sure if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all your help and support. And thank you guys again for watching. And until next time, guys, see you later.